Hi, folks. Hey. Oh, have I got a video for you? Yeah. The title of the video. So simple. Boom. What's that about? This video, I really hope that someday somebody has watched this video and did what I'm going to advise and saved themselves from the potential of having a very severe accident. So here we go. I'll get right into it. Last Friday, I had a couple, a senior couple, older couple. They stopped in the campground. They came through and they're looking for a campsite. And they stopped and they asked me, they said, see, one of the most favorite sites here in my campground is site number 5 right up here on the hill. And it's a beautiful lake site. It's nice and flat. It's kind of open. It's got a lot of timber around, a lot of trees, but yet the site itself is nice and open, and it's right by the well and real close to one of the restrooms. They loved that site, and they thought, well, they didn't think it was available because it had a reservation sign. And I said, no, there's no reservation for it. How many nights do you want to stay? They said, just one night. And I said, oh, okay, that's good. I said, it's yours if you want it. And they said, oh, yeah, we'll take it. So they went and they paid, and they put their receipt on the post, and they're getting set up. And what they had is one of those, it's not a conversion van, but it's a camper van. That's, it's like a van, but it's bigger. It's quite a bit bigger than a conventional van, and it's a regular camper, little tiny motorhome. Well, they pulled it in and parked it so that if you come out the side door of the camper, not too far away from the camper is the fire pit and the picnic table. Well, they had just gotten set up. And I can see that site from here. And I could tell that, oh, he's getting his campfire going. He's putting his firewood together, and then I could see some smoke, and I could tell, oh, he's got his fire going. So I took a stroll up, and I walked around that part of the campground, and I came to their site, and he saw me, and he yells at me, you remember me, don't you? I said, I can't forget you, because him and his son had been here earlier this year, and they had a site over here on the other side of the campground for 14 days. The fella's great. He's a great guy. Well, him and his wife come around their camper I'm between the road and their camper, and they're between me and the camper, and we're talking. Well, we're talking about his earlier camping trip out here with his son and his little grandson, and chatting away. Now his fire's going right in the fire pit. His wife said, oh, I'll be back in a minute. She says, I gotta go. I think she said she had to grab a cup of coffee, and she was going to head in the camper. She goes around the camper and is going in the camper. We heard the camper door close, and then there was the explosion. Huge explosion. But it sounded kind of muffled. Both of us right away thought something exploded inside that camper. So he starts yelling for his wife as both of us run around that camper. And she yells from inside the camper, it wasn't in here, it was out there. And I kid you not, you could see it. There was a smoke and vapor kind of cloud, looked like a little nuclear explosion that was coming off that fire pit, came off that fire pit. Something in the fire pit exploded. And now I had, before they ever showed up, in fact, the day before, I had been up there, inspected the site. I do that with every site. When somebody leaves, I go to their site and I inspect the fire pits, make sure they're cold, they're out, there's no garbage in them, no debris. And I had checked that site. And I take a small little rake, camp rake with me, and I rake through. And I rake down a couple inches, into the ashes. Make sure the fire's out and there's no trash in it. He said that when he started the fire, he said he actually had told his wife, I can't believe how clean this fire pit is. So we're trying to figure out what in the world would explode in a clean fire pit. Now I got 3 things I'm going to show you. This is what exploded. All right. This went off. But what it did was it burst a hole in the side of it. And this was inside the fire. Also, when this burst, I made the 2 of them get way back, away from the fire pit. And I went and started trying to find out what exploded, and I found this baby in there. Well, this one, while I'm poking around in that fire pit with my hiking stick to try to see if there's anything else in there that might go off, this one goes off. But it burnt a hole through the side of it, and this was spinning in there, flipping flames out of that fire pit like you wouldn't believe. I got my hiking stick under it and flung it out of the fire pit. And by the time it hit the ground, it was all done, right? I looked in that fire pit, and sticking out of the ashes is this. It's another one, a 3rd one. This, I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not, but this is full of fluid. This was full. This big bulge in it. When I picked it up, I burnt my finger because this was soft, melted plastic, ready to bulge. It was bulging from the heat. It was getting ready to blow. The tip of it had already melted down to the metal piece that's a valve that for plugging it into the thing it goes to. This one was ready to go, and I saw it, and I reached in, grabbed it. I could have blown my hand off grabbing this thing, but I had to get it out. I grabbed it, and I threw it out on the ground, and after it cooled off, I picked it up. But the amount of flash that came from this one when it exploded, and the amount of flames shooting out of this one when it started going off, if that gal would have been standing over that fire pit, let's say just adding a piece of firewood, or she was cooking over it, she would have suffered severe, I'm telling you, severe flash burns from this thing going off. The gal doesn't wear glasses. It could have blinded her permanently from the flash. Flash burns could have blinded her. She could have caught on fire herself, her clothes. I had a heck of a time remaining composed. I was so upset. I was so upset that somebody would have done such a thing, because the only way these were in there was that somebody had intentionally stuck these underneath the ashes, fully aware that the minute somebody starts a campfire over that and that heat gets down into those ashes, it would set these buggers off. Well, I hope whoever had that campsite before they got there Friday actually watches this video and finds out where and who is pointing this out. They've been caught. Unless it was somebody that snuck in there, walked in there, snuck in there, and stuck those in there. We know who was the last camper before they came in, before this couple came in. We know who they are. We have their license number, their vehicle and license number. We will be taking action. They could have killed somebody or severely and permanently injured them. And I cannot believe this was done without intent, because these were buried in the ashes. Now, because of this, now when I inspect my fire pits, I used to rake down 2, maybe 3 inches or so. Now I rake all the way down until I hit hard ground, and I inspect that complete fire pit all the way to the bottom. The last thing I want to do is be the host that had a guest severely injured because of the foolishness and the malice of some other camper. Now, these containers, they're used in these bug machines that keep the mosquitoes away. They're filled with butane, and these are plugged into that machine, and then the machine is lit, and it's got a fire going in it. And I don't know exactly how they work, but that's what they're for, is for these bug repellers. I can't believe that someone did that. I can't believe it. Pure foolishness, and they risk the lives of others doing it. I have no time for that. I have no time for that whatsoever. So there you go, guys. Just an informational kind of video. When you go camping and you're using a fire pit for the very first time, and you know there's been other people there before you, take a rake, a stick, anything. Dig down through those ashes and inspect what's down in that fire pit, what's underneath those ashes. Take the time to do that, please. They could have stuck things like this in there. They could have stuck, say, bug spray cans, aerosol cans. They could have stuck that in there. And because of this event, the rest of my life now, will never be able to trust a fire pit without fully and deeply inspecting it. So please do that. Please do that to stay safe out there, guys. I don't want to hear that any of my viewers got injured in any way because of some foolishness like this. And especially when it only takes you a couple of minutes to inspect that fire pit and dig deep enough to make sure there's nothing in there that could explode. Okay? Please do that for me. Hey, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And hey, ring the bell. You'll know when I'm doing videos and live streams. Give me a thumbs up if you like the content, and your comments. I love your comments. I get to read every one of them. Every one of them. I can't respond out here in the field, but I do get to read them. I can get them and I can read them. And hey, thumbs ups, you know. Yeah, I might have said that already. Thumbs ups are cool. All of you, please, for Sty, inspect your fire pits, camp safely, and until the next time, you all have a very, very nice day. Bye-bye.